All right, y'all, what is going on, my good folks? It is Friday. The weekend is here, and it's time to celebrate. You know, you always celebrate when you get a weekend, right? But yeah, it's all good. But nevertheless, hopefully everybody is doing good. Hopefully everything is great with you and yours. It is, the temperature is rising out here, and the sun is beaming. Kind of crazy. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into it. Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond out at Xbox. Phil Spencer retires. Sarah Bond decides to step down, and she is going home, or she's going somewhere else. And to be honest with you guys, I feel like nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change at Xbox. Everything is going to be the same. It is what it is. I did see the statements from the new person that's going to be replacing Phil Spencer. Was it Asha Shamara or something like that? I can't pronounce the name, I'm sorry. I did see those statements. They were okay. They did sound promising. I heard her background is in AI, so I was like, I don't know. But nevertheless, Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond are gone. Now, when it comes to Phil Spencer, this is what I was saying. Phil Spencer, for me, is known for turning Xbox around. We got to understand, Xbox One it started off as a disaster. And by the time it got to Xbox One X, he got it back to a point where it looked pretty solid. You know, backwards compatibility was a thing. They technically had the most powerful console. Some of the games were on point. They wasn't selling that well because Sony was dog walking them. But Xbox was on pretty good footing. It was all right. Xbox Series come, Game Pass come, and then ever since then it was kind of like a race to the bottom. So it wasn't the best for them, but I think, you know, overall Phil Spencer did what he could on a sinking ship. And he'll always get credit for that. Now, when it comes to Sarah Bond, I don't know much about Sarah Bond, but I always remember her for that question that was asked about Hi-Fi Rush. When she was asked that question, and she looked like a deer in the headlights, and it was like, I don't know what to say here. And it was kind of, it put her in an awkward position. The Hi-Fi Rush question for her was always that moment for me that always stood out. But nevertheless, I'm not saying they did anything bad. I didn't say they did anything wrong. I just feel like Microsoft in itself are the overheads of Xbox. And I think what they're doing is going to make me think that nothing's going to change at Xbox. No matter who's up there. Matt Booty is supposed to be in place of Sarah Bond's position. And I'm like, okay. I mean, there's nothing here to excite me. You know, at the end of the day, Xbox is going to be Xbox, and what you see is what you get. Now, if you're in their ecosystem and you're gaming in their ecosystem, you're not in a bad spot. I mean, Xbox is in a good position to where, you know, you can get some solid, you know, quality service out of them. You know, the Xbox Game Pass, even though it's expensive, you still getting a good service out of that. Even though that some of their games aren't necessarily the top tier games, the games that they do have on display are worth playing. I mean, people don't want to admit that, but when you see Xbox games go to other platforms, they're actually doing well. You know, just go look at the situation with Forza Horizon. You know, look at I don't know what to say about Doom, you know, yeah, but you know, like look at Forza Horizon. Look at some of the other games that are on other platforms. They're doing very well. But, you know, so I mean, I just put it like this. Xbox could be one of the top dogs in the industry, even over Nintendo and Sony, but they've done so much to mess themselves up. It doesn't matter who's up there at the top of the food chain or top of the electronic chain when it comes to who's president or whatever the case may be. Nothing's going to change. You know, a lot of people saying it could get worse, and I agree, it could get worse. This is just go back to the video that I did yesterday about Bluepoint. This is where the industry is at right now. The industry is not in a position to where we're going to have it like it was in the PS3 days, even the PlayStation 4 days, the Xbox 360 days, the Xbox One days. You're not going to have those days anymore. Ever since the series came out, the PlayStation 5, all these other games that came out, it was like I said, it's kind of like a race to the bottom where you know what you're going to get out of these consoles. You know what you're going to get in PC gaming. You know what you're going to get out of Nintendo. And the thing is, like, if you get a a great game, you know, that's a win. And great, what I mean by great is the standard is really low. You just got to have a functional game that plays okay. That's considered a great game nowadays. You know, we're not getting these immaculate top of the chart games that we once had back in the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, original Xbox, GameCube, you know, Xbox 360. Those days are gone. Those days are gone. And it made it even worse because Bluepoint, you know, they're gone. So the remasters or the remakes of those games from back then aren't going to be around anymore like that. You know, or they've done all that they can. You know, so this is what I mean. It's like, look, with Xbox, you get what you get. You want to pay $30 a month to get Ultimate Game Pass, you're going to, some people think that's a really good deal. Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't have an Xbox, you know, One or Xbox Series anymore. I am planning on buying another one again, but that's based on another stuff. I did a video about it. You can go check that out. But when I look at what they have as far as Game Pass, PC Game Pass, or whatever the case may be, you can find value in that regardless of how much you think it costs. So, I think at the end of the day, that's where they're going to be. I mean, there was another report out where they were thinking about putting PC Game Pass. They was implementing it with another tier of their Game Pass that's on console. So none of that stuff is going to change. I mean, we are in a situation where Xbox gaming is what it is. And it's going to be that way. No matter if Asha's there or if Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, you know, Phil Spencer, it doesn't matter. You got what you got. And, you know, at the end of the day, you got what you got. So, like I said, I look at it like this. As far as the future goes, I can see myself actually paying for PC Game Pass. I think at that $16 mark, I think I can go back to it. But I'm very hesitant on that. I'm not saying yay or nay, but I'm looking at it from me in the future Xbox. I can see myself doing that. As far as a console, I like I said in my video a while back, I want an Xbox One just for Forza 5 and 6. You know, I want to play. I love playing racing games, and those I can't play those nowhere else. So I would go get a $50 Xbox One to get that. But as far as anything I'm thinking about going forward, as far as the future of Xbox and what I think could happen, what you see is what you get. I don't see nothing special. And to me, I don't think there's any reason for anybody to be worried about what's going on. I mean, Xbox could get worse, but I mean, who's really, you know, worried about that? Who's going to lose sleep over that? Who's going to be in a situation where, like, oh man, Xbox is already where they're at, and people are content with it. I don't think they can get any lower than that as far as what they're doing as a service. You know, so I don't think none of that's going to change. AI might be a thing, I mean, but it is what it is, right? Like I said, we're not really, you know what I'm saying? That's basically how you just shrug your shoulders. But yeah, Phil Spencer's out. Sarah Bond is out. The police is rolling by. Man, living out here in this part of Atlanta, man, it gets like that. But nevertheless, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I will be going live later on tonight. Y'all go check me out. I'll probably be playing some more Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005. Check that out. I want to finish that at some point, so I need to do part 3 of that. And I may do some late night streaming. If you guys are up or whatever, I might be playing something on that end as well. So, yeah, hopefully you guys check that out as well. I appreciate everybody who's come through. We are really close to getting to 1,000 subs, and it's all thanks to you guys. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see y'all in the next one. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace.